Rupert and James Murdoch have been formally summoned to testify before a House of Commons Select Committee investigating the News of the World phone hacking scandal. The pair had rejected a request to face the committee. However, Rupert Murdoch says he will appear before a separate judge-led inquiry announced yesterday by the British Prime Minister David Cameron. The head of News International, Rebekah Brooks, has agreed to appear and will face the committee next Tuesday. Europe correspondent Philip Williams reports.
With every hour, another twist. The latest of former News of the World executive editor Neil Wallace has been arrested. He used to work as Andy Coulson's deputy, the man arrested over hacking last week. And it appears police want to talk to a number of other journalists. And in a stunning development, a Commons Media Committee has issued a summons to force both Rupert and James Murdoch to appear before them on Tuesday. That was delivered by hand by the Deputy Sergeant-at-Arms. Rebekah Brooks had earlier agreed to appear, but it's unclear what the Murdochs can or will do now.
We have already been told by James Murdoch that the committee has been misled in some of the statements that were made to it during our previous inquiry. Given the scale of the public anger about what has happened, I think the very least that should happen is that Rupert Murdoch, as the head of the company, and James Murdoch, as the chairman of News Corp International, should appear and account for what has been going on.
My message to Rebekah Brooks, to the Murdochs, is just do the decent thing. You can't hide away from this level of public anguish and anger and indeed interest.
All of this follows a very bad day for the Murdochs, forced to drop their coveted bid for B-Sky B and blasted in the Parliament by Prime Ministers present and past.
Others have said that in their behaviour towards those without a voice of their own, News International descended from the gutter to the sewers. The tragedy, Mr. Speaker, is that they let the rats out of the sewers.
Gordon Brown said he'd tried to get an inquiry going back in 2009, but encountered resistance from within government. David Cameron has finally announced an inquiry.
There is a firestorm, if you like, that is engulfing parts of the media, parts of the police, and indeed our political system's ability to respond. And what we must do in the coming days and weeks is think above all of the victims, like the Dowler family who are watching this today, and make doubly sure that we get to the bottom of what happened and we prosecute those who are guilty.
The opposition has criticised the Prime Minister for his close association with Rebekah Brooks and Andy Coulson.
He was keen to get into the Murdoch, to get sort of cosy with Murdoch. He did that. Socially, he's very close, or has been very close to Rebekah Brooks, who lives 2 or 3 miles from him in Oxfordshire. They see each other most weekends, I think, and it's very embarrassing. He's backed the wrong horse.
But News Corp's problems are not confined to Britain. Now US lawmakers are asking the FBI and other authorities to investigate if American laws have been broken.
The law for an American corporation, which News Corp is prohibited from using bribery for any reason. And here it's suggested that it has been used. And as a consequence, we want those who enforce the law to get after this, investigate it, and tell us what really happened.
It's expected authorities will also look at claims the News of the World journalists may have tried to bribe a US policeman to give them the phone numbers of the 9/11 victims. With each day, this story evolves in ways that would have even challenged the creative talents of the leader writers at the now defunct News of the World. Philip Williams, Lateline.